So this is gonna be a pretty interesting video in my opinion. And the reason why I say that is because previously my video that I posted of a Coraline, the drawing that I did of Coraline, I originally had some audio for it, but sorry, I hit my mic. but, but yeah, I originally had audio and everything and a voiceover for it actually. But I ended up scrapping it all because I wanted to just post one of the beats that I made over a year ago. And yeah, it was just interesting to do it and to see the reaction to it because obviously it got less views than me talking because people I don't think just want to watch somebody draw and listen to music. Maybe they do, maybe it's something that I'll do more in the future. Or not even maybe, I will definitely do it more in the future. But yeah, it was just interesting. It was a good experiment, I think, for me to do and upload it to the YouTube channel. Because why not? You can do whatever you want whenever it comes to this YouTube thing. So why would I not want to just do something that I felt like doing? But yeah, so today I think I'm gonna talk about. Let's see. Sorry, I'm ill prepared, just like I am in every video. So forgive me. Looks like I was talking about earlier, being able to stay in the moment. My laziness addiction, I think I already talked about that. What it means to be a leader. Not a professional artist, but on the journey. I guess I talked about this a little bit. Yeah, I guess I went pretty far into detail about that. So I'm actually gonna, on my list here that I got, gonna actually just mark that off. So, not liking to be vulnerable. Should I talk about that? Maybe I should talk about not liking to be vulnerable. Sure, let me talk about that though. So, the reason for me not liking to be vulnerable, I guess, reason, excuse, however you want to look at it. The reason though that I've never liked being vulnerable is just because I think that a lot of people tend to use it against you, and I shouldn't even say people in the world, but just people that I've met in my life, like even people I've been close to, tend to use my vulnerability against me. And it sucks, it sucks to have something thrown back at you when when you're trying something, when you're trying to be vulnerable, to actually make an effort to open up to somebody. So so throughout my life, I've had people kind of destroy that idea of me being vulnerable with them. So now that I've learned, I've matured, I've learned now that it's okay to be vulnerable with certain people, but you have to be selective about who you're vulnerable with. You can't just be vulnerable with everybody like I was. I would just blindly trust people when there was no reason to. So now, yeah, I'm just more careful about it. Is all. It's I think that's pretty much all I gotta say when it comes to being vulnerable. So just be careful if you are being vulnerable. If you open up to somebody, be careful with it. Make sure that you I guess vet the person. Don't ask them a million questions now, but just figure out what their demeanor is. Another rule that I live by when it comes to that is that if they would talk about somebody else to you, they would talk about you to somebody else. So just keep that in mind, most likely. Um, let's see. What is being a successful artist? Hmm. Well, I don't know if I want to talk about that or not right now. Sorry, I think I told y'all this before, but if you've never heard any of my other videos, I kind of just ramble. I go down my list of things I want to talk about for my YouTube videos, and I just talk about them. So forgive me for rambling, kind of ranting about stuff. One thing I do want to talk about, a couple things I want to talk about here. One thing I want to talk about is Charlie Kirk. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because of the lack of the lack of a lot of stuff that's happening here. So I guess Ta-Nehisi Coates, if you know who that is, he's an author, activist. Uh, he summed it up pretty well, I think, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, of course, but he talks about how Charlie Clerk he would when he would talk, you know, he was talking to divide people. He was he had a supremacy complex is what he had. So if you don't know what a supremacy complex, is, it's when somebody thinks that they're superior to you. As simple as that. They think that they are better than you. They think that you are beneath them, and it's not the. I'm not gonna say it's not the right way to look at people, because what is the right way to look at people? It's based off of your own values, beliefs, morals, or whatever. But it's not a constructive way to unite people, because that will just divide us even further. People will start thinking that they're better than somebody, just like for me, right? And I've done it before, I'm not going to say that I've never looked down on somebody, because I have. And it's something that I'm not proud of, but it's something that I've learned from, and I've learned that it's not the right thing to do whenever it comes to looking at somebody. So what I do now is just looking at people as equals, no matter. And I know some people will give the extreme example of, what about a homeless person, or what about a drug addict? You're gonna, think about them the same way that you would look at you know, somebody that you're reading a book by, or an author or something. And to that I say, I'm not gonna look down on them. I'm not gonna think I'm better than them. It's just that they're different, and there's certain people, and we all do this, it's a natural thing of life where we value some other people's opinions more than others. So, for instance, I value, you know, my family's opinion of me more than I value somebody's opinion of me online. My family has been with me, they've seen me through a lot of stuff, friends, whatever it may be, seen me through a lot of stuff, and they actually know who I am as a person. So for me, I would take their advice or criticisms or whatever it may be more seriously than I would if somebody said online that, I'm a terrible person or something. If my family said it, it would be different. If a stranger online says it that I don't even know, it's not going to hit the same, because we as people should have that hierarchy of uh, feedback about ourselves. So when I say that we shouldn't look down on people, all I'm talking about is we shouldn't think that we're better than anybody, is all. And that's all that I mean by that. It's not that, it's not that you should value everybody's opinions the same as or as people that are close to you. It's just that you should be careful about whose opinions that you value. Make sure that you actually know that person. I guess another thing I want to talk about real quick is just when it comes to social media, since I'm on it a lot more now because of what I'm doing online. I want to talk about just not following people on social media. So I'm kind of going to read this off a little bit, so forgive me if it sounds very, um, well, maybe I won't read. Maybe I'll sum it up instead so I can still speak more naturally. Well, I keep changing my mind, so forgive me. So I'll just read what I wrote down here. So when it comes to social media and following people, so I just felt like I was following people because I wanted to make it seem like I was being inspired by them or that I liked their content enough to follow them. That was a reason I gave. It may not make a lot of sense, but I guess I'll expound upon that. So online, I would follow a lot of artists, and I've noticed that I would follow these artists because I thought it was an obligation for me. And I thought that because I'm an artist, oh, I should support other artists, which don't get me wrong, I will always support other artists no matter what. And I mean real artists. I'm not talking about AI artists because that's not real art to me. I'm talking about, artists that actually do work and draw and all that good stuff. I think I will always support them and make sure that I champion them. But I just had to stop following people for my own sanity because I would see these people online and I would compare myself thinking that, oh, they have hundreds of thousands of followers and I don't have nearly as much. It just wasn't a good mental space for me. So yeah, I just stopped following everybody. Nothing personal against anybody. I just I don't like following people anymore. I also realized how much of an enigma I am. So if you don't know what an enigma is, by the way, I'll give you a quick definition here of it. So it's just somebody who's misunderstood, somebody who is not well known, or they're hard to figure out is what it is pretty much. So that's me. I know that I'm that to my family, to my friends. I'm just an enigma. So I had to kind of embrace that and be like, okay, cool. Well, I'm an enigma. So since I am, I'm gonna go ahead and just continue to be that. Because I like being misunderstood. I like people not knowing who I am on a personal level, unless you actually know me. It's just something that I like. I also understand that some people won't like it that I'm not following anybody, and they won't engage with me or my content because they see that I don't follow anybody. And I've had to learn to be okay with that because for some reason, and this is me, I used to do this as well before I stopped following people. I would judge people based off of how many people they follow, and they call it the follow ratio. So just meaning that how many people somebody's following compared to how many people follow them. So, and you have to get that ratio right, in order to be a content creator or to be popular or whatever. And it wasn't something that I like to do. So I just I just stopped following everybody to kind of get rid of all that. If you still want to follow me, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. I'm not going to put too much weight into that type of stuff. Um, so yeah, I'm probably not gonna have as many followers from me not following anybody, and I think I have to be comfortable with that, and I'm okay with that. And maybe I'll come to find out one day that maybe people don't care if I follow them or not on social media. Maybe they'll just follow me anyway because hopefully I'll put out good content or whatever. But only time will tell. Um, so yeah, just something I wanted to ramble about when it came to social media real quick. I've only got a few minutes left in this drawing right now. Let's see. I guess another thing I want to touch on is just deserving to be happy. So one thing I've learned and I've had to learn is people who deserve to be happy, which is everybody. Everybody I think deserves to be happy. Unfortunately, a lot of people there are going to be a lot of people in life that just are never going to be happy. They're never going to be content with life. They're always going to want more, maybe. And I've had to learn that, if that's the way that they want to live their life, that's okay. But for me, I have to, I think I want to pursue happiness. The good old Pursuit of Happiness. That's a great movie, by the way, with Will Smith. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. But yeah, just deserving to be happy. I think everybody deserves to be happy. Everybody deserves a, you know, happy ending in life, and hopefully more people pursue that happiness because it is a pursuit. It takes time in order to be happy, and of course you don't have to be happy every single day. Don't get me wrong. Some days I'm just kind of meh. Some days I'm sad. Some days I'm mad. And for the most part, though, I am pretty happy with life. So I think everybody should be, you know, pursuing that. So that's just me rambling a little bit. Forgive me for just rambling and talking about stuff. If you if you don't like it, I completely understand. It's perfectly fine. I get it. Also, I forgot to talk about what drawing I'm doing, but I'm pretty sure you can tell it's a bird, a colorful bird. I got a reference from Pinterest that I wanted to kind of loosely base this drawing off of. So hopefully I'll remember to put it in the bio, my reference. But yeah, just live life, be happy.